So, this is the final film from the Maze Runner trilogy. Is it? What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another review. Today's review is for the third film in this trilogy that's based on the young adult novels that the teenagers all love, and this is the climax that we've been waiting for, and that is Maze Runner: The Death Cure. Directed once again by Wes Ball, who's directed all three Maze Runner movies, and starring everybody from the past Maze Runner films, including Dylan O'Brien. Now, if you guys are huge fans of the Maze Runner franchise, or if you're huge fans of the novels, this review is going to be 100% spoiler free. Do not worry, guys, no spoilers. In this review, you are safe here. Maze Runner: The Death Cure, the third and final film in the trilogy. You know how the film opens up. You got Dylan O'Brien and the crew all on this big adventure to try to find this lost city that people have said that this is the city that still remains in this post-apocalyptic wasteland kind of a world. And of course, the number one thing that these people are trying to find is this cure to the flare virus, which is this virus that can turn people into zombies. And so Dylan O'Brien and the crew have to try to find Wicked and try to stop them one last time, and of course try to figure out what this cure is so that the human population can be saved once and for all. This film went through production hell trying to be made, and you guys pretty much know, everybody has been saying it, that Dylan O'Brien, the main star of this film, got seriously injured filming this movie. Production shut down. The filming started in 2016 in February and started back up in March 2017. And now we're in January 2018 because the release date of this movie has been pushed back and pushed forward so many times. I didn't see the past two Maze Runner movies in theaters. I bought them all on Blu-ray and watched them to prepare for the Death Cure. The first one was a lot of fun. There's some good adventure in it, some great action sequences. Dylan O'Brien was great. Will Poulter was great. Maze Runner: The Scorched Trials was really long and boring. There were some plot elements that really didn't work for me, but still the action was great. And what were my overall thoughts on Maze Runner: The Death Cure? I was satisfied with this movie. These films need to do one thing, need to satisfy us with their action sequences, and that's what these movies are made for. So I can honestly say that the Maze Runner films, besides Harry Potter, which are the best young adult novel films put to screen, the Maze Runner and the Hunger Games have been the most solid young adult novels since Harry Potter. Dylan O'Brien is the best part out of all three of these Maze Runner movies. He's not just a great action star, but he's an extremely underrated actor. Dylan O'Brien, he's fantastic in all three of these movies. The guy just gives a lot of rage and emotion in some of these scenes, and it really made me feel invested in him. He was one of my favorite parts of American Assassin last year. Even though that's not a great movie, Dylan O'Brien still stood up with Michael Keaton in that film, and I would love to see Dylan O'Brien play Spider-Man because that guy gives so much emotion and rage. He's great in the action sequences in The Death Cure. They're up in the ante, they're up in the action sequences in this film, and this movie, the action sequences looked kind of realistic. There's a really entertaining opening action sequence that takes place on a train. That action scene looked kind of real and practical, and that really did surprise me. It reminded me of something of Mad Max Fury Road or something, with cars, trains, bunch of gun shootouts. It looked really cool, and I gotta give props to Wes Ball of making that look fun. The stunt work in all three of these Maze Runner movies are great. I can tell they put a lot of effort into making the stunt work look realistic and gritty, and that's something that Wes Ball does a great job with in all three of these Maze Runner movies. This man stayed with this entire trilogy. He's directed all three of these films, and he did a pretty decent job of making you feel invested in the characters and the story he's trying to tell. Even though they're not great movies, he does a great job of still making you invested on the characters. While I really had a great time watching The Death Cure, it's not a great movie, it's not perfect. There are some flaws in it, just like the other films, so let's go to the negatives. My biggest flaw with The Death Cure is the plot. Some story elements that they're trying to bring into this movie didn't work for me. Trying to find what this cure is, some different parts of this movie they're trying to reveal as big, huge plot twists, some exposition sequences introduced. Yeah, that's the boring parts of this film. Like, there's one scene in The Death Cure that's supposed to be really revealing. Now, if you read the Maze Runner novels, you know what I'm pretty much talking about. Once I saw this thing show up, I was like, I don't know what to think about that. Am I supposed to be surprised? Or am I supposed to be like, why did they do that? Each Maze Runner movie gets longer and longer. The first one, 1 hour and 53 minutes. Second, 2 hours and 11 minutes. In this movie, it's trying to be the big one. And sometimes, they could have cut 20 minutes from this movie. In the end, guys, Maze Runner: The Death Cure is a solid conclusion to this trilogy. There are some emotions in here that if you're really invested in this franchise and the novels, you're going to tear up. But for me, I just had a great time watching that action and the character interactions and the final showdown go down in this film. And if you're not a huge fan of the Maze Runner movies or the novels, then you'll think this one's eh. On my rating scale, I'm gonna give Maze Runner: The Death Cure a 3 out of 5 stars. Alright guys, that was my review for Maze Runner: The Death Cure. Have you guys seen it yet? What were your thoughts on it? Did you love it? Think it was okay? Or did you absolutely hate it? Let me know down below. Now that I have seen all 3 Maze Runner movies, I will be doing a ranking video ranking all 3 Maze Runner movies from my worst to my favorite. So look out for that ranking video. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Thank you guys, as always, for watching this review. And if you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe today for more content. All my social media links are in the description down below. Click the notification bell on your way out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!